Jai Hind everyone. My name is Navjot Singh and I welcome you to India's only podcast hosted by a former IB officer. In this podcast today, we have a special guest. We have Col Rajeev Bagga sir, uh, whom we have already had a discussion also.
Yes.
So sir, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thanks again, Mr. Navjot. In fact, I am once again very grateful to you that we are meeting for the second time, I believe.
It's a privilege,
And
privilege is entirely
No, it is very. I saw your previous podcast and the latest one which you are covering, and definitely I saw you speaking over Brigadier Rajinder Singh at Republic TV. You were remarkably covered, and that's a very brilliant platform which you have created to equip a lot of people who are not aware about so many things. So thanks again for an invite.
The honor and privilege is entirely mine, and it's going to be a great enriching experience for me once again. So, sir, अगर हम समझने की कोशिश करें global geopolitics को, if we try to delve deeper into the conflicts that are happening currently in the world, and there is a statement made by one of the countries in the Middle East. I'm talking about Islamic Republic of Iran,
Right.
where they've mentioned after this, temporary ceasefire that has happened, they have said that this is not ceasefire. This is only a cessation of hostility. और अगर इजराइल ने फिर से हम पर, हमारे नागरिकों पे या हमारे इंस्टॉलेशंस पे अटैक किया, we will give them a befitting reply that is going to hit them really hard. So I want your assessment of the evolving situation in the Middle East with respect to, churning up of the global geopolitics.
You see, what I personally feel, before I come to the actual question of yours, we all need to understand one point. Why such things are happening for past 1.5 year or 2 years? Why so? There is a change in you can say, in the era somewhere in the Western country, and why the world is becoming so restless. Like I call this ceasefire not a complete one, rather it is not to be taken as a ceasefire at all. You or anyone, any country, suddenly first smash you and thereafter, okay, here it is a hanky, kindly wipe your tears. And I am the man. Who has given you a right for that? There is something called Geneva Convention.
You talk
There
about,
is-
you talk about Mr.
I
Trump.
will come to that. There is some articles of the UN also. There are certain worldwide war dogs are sitting to analyze the thing to give the permission, right? Even this time also, the ceasefire initiative was absolutely designed and maybe for some other reason. Like I tell you, I personally feel that whatever is happening in the Middle East now, I am saying that it is total global disorder. Don't you think? First came the Russia, Ukraine. Thereafter, Israel went after Gaza for whatever the reasons. And thereafter, they got a chance to go after Iran also. Let me ask very simple thing to my viewers only, or let them also analyze this part. There is sheer violation of diplomatic option when it was available. The straight were going for the war.
You're talking with respect to Israel.
I am talking about
Right.
Article 56 of Geneva Convention.
But who? You're talking about Israel violating those provisions?
Don't you think it is a preemptive?
Sir,
The war,
if we-
whenever we go for a war,
if we dwell deeper into this question that you're talking about, अगर हम इसमें थोड़ा deeply समझने की कोशिश करें, there was a 60-day ultimatum that was given to Iran to stop its nuclear enrichment program. And USA President Barack Obama,
okay,
he came up with the JCPOA, P5+1 countries, and Iran gave an oversight over its nuclear agencies, nuclear installations, to the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency.
NPT,
But so I'm coming to that question.
Okay,
But now Mr. Trump comes and he unilaterally he walks out of the JCPOA. What is this hypocrisy of the West?
My question on this part, not a reply. Who doesn't have nukes today? We stop smashing everyone. Pakistan has got, even we have also got, even other countries, North Korea has also got, China has got, Russia has got, US has got, and they have buried some stuff in Pakistan also.
Right, sir.
What I'm trying to say, it is not war is suddenly breaking the wall, giving a war, and by the way, no international law. The international, so what if they are having a nukes? They don't permit. They say, what is the diplomatic option available with us? By doing so, don't you think that we are putting the entire world at the stake? The crude oil I'm talking about, the parliament of Iran has already decided that we are going to close this Strait of Hormuz. If it is going to happen, imagine yourself that the entire energy supply to the various parts of the countries, that India is taking 54%. When the Ukraine war started off, at that time the percentage was only 60. And now I'm very sure, though I have not carried out that analysis, but it must have, after this war, it must have come down to 50%.
Talking about the Strait of Hormuz, Strait of Hormuz caters to around 20% of the global oil supply.
Okay.
And some commentators also talk about that the impact of Strait of Hormuz would not be that much on the Americans or the Chinese. It will mostly hit only the European countries who source most of their supply.
So whatever it is, I all the time trying to visualize this, how it is going to affect us, my country, our country, and that is, and by the way, we are having a very fair relations and excellent relations with even Israel also, and even with Iran in past, USC.
We are abstained from voting, in the resolution against Israel.
But tell me one thing.
How do you see this? Let me reframe the question.
Then we talk about Article 51 of UN. They say no country has got a right to smash anyone.
Absolutely.
Without raising this issue, and when the Iranians, they started smashing Qatar base, that is the US base. I tell you.
That was a natural response.
You know,
Iranians would have to do something.
Qatar must have given a befitting answer, but as a protocol, maintaining the protocol, they have written straight to the UN. Why our friend Trump is not doing so? Why they are not? He has approached to the UN or the diplomatic option, and thereafter say, I have come from 2,000 kilometers with the 150 aircraft fleet and smashing you people with the B2
bombers, the bunker buses.
And thereafter, now you take my hanky, please wipe your tears.
This is the American see, sir. If I delve deeper into the historical aspect of this, I was discussing with some youngsters also about, I was talking about geopolitics. And there, what happened in 1979? The Islamic Revolution. Before that, if we
will discuss definitely about the.
If we
definitely. The Shah era ended in 1979.
So before Shah, if we go a little further, Mossadegh was Mohammad Mossadegh. Mossadegh को हटा के इन्होंने Americans ने रजा शाह पहलवी को
1953 की जो coup हुई थी, who was instrumental in this?
Americans.
The CIA, M16 guys, they are working over it. They had a certain vision about it. They want now. What is the outcome of this? USA has changed their area of interest from Asia to Middle East. And if this thing though that is the intention, if this thing happens actually, that China will have a free hand. Try and understand this system also. Don't you think that China will also look forward to taking back that Taiwan? They will do so. We are, firstly, what is that interest? Why they are having 200 military bases in the Middle East only. Why can't they allow their people to breathe and relax and go for a fair trade?
So I personally feel on this part about having military bases, as per a report, I mean, although the actual number may be much higher, United States has more than 800 military bases across the world.
Okay.
हमने अपने देश में हमारी जो आर्मी की कमांड्स हैं, ऑल दी कमांड्स, हमने अपने देश को डिवाइड किया हुआ है कमांड्स ने. अमेरिका ने पूरे विश्व को it has divided into commands.
No, by and large we are on a common platform actually. I'm not really against any country. We are a peace-living people. India's stand is very much.
I am talking about. I am trying to draw the Americans trying to control the influence over the world. वो दुनिया में किस तरह से अपना एक रसूख बना के रखना चाह रहे हैं.
क्यों? Why? देखो, the major problem about these giant powers, who are these? Russians, China, US, and चौथी हम हैं. The problem is when we are rising.
I think we are still much to catch up to do.
I am in agreement. But the point is very simple. In Operation Sindoor, we have proved that we don't require anybody. We have got a capacity to smash. But there is some amount of a degree, or there is a requirement to upgrade certain things. Definitely.
Lot of things.
Lot of things.
I will not. I will try to.
Okay. Let's not debate. We'll come back to our chapter only.
Right.
So मैं ये कह रहा हूँ, देखो 71 में फ्लीट आ गया था बे ऑफ बंगाल में इनका, तो उसके बाद हाँ, तो कहने का मतलब है, मतलब कि इधर भी सीज फायर मैं कराऊंगा, इधर भी मैं सीज फायर कराऊंगा, एंड गिव मी सम काइंड ऑफ अ ट्रॉफी, प्लीज जस्ट फॉर अ ट्रॉफी. There's so many innocent people have gone. Innocent. I'm not talking about a trained soldier. They are professional. They are supposed to fight, and they are supposed to fight for their country, for the sovereignty and the security of their country.
Right, sir. Right.
So this is what exactly is my version over it.
This absolutely right, sir. So we talked about this 12-day war that ensued in the Middle East. 12 दिन का जो जंग, although active hostilities तो बंद हो चुकी हैं, but जैसे आपने पहले कहा, Cold War तो चल रही है.
हो चलेगा.
But what this war has done, this has kind of redefined the power dynamics in the Middle East. Iran has now come up as the global leader in missile technology. It has showcased its prowess.
तो point.
आप कैसे देखते हैं इसको?
जब मैं बिल्कुल, I really wanted to share this point also. Now, of course, they have not used their aircraft because they don't have that brilliant aircraft with them.
Yes.
But it should not. We cannot rule out कि they उनके पास बड़ा जखीरा है missiles का.
Absolutely.
And the Iron Dome.
It could not. Actually सर आयरन डोम का भी एक बात कहते हैं कि आयरन डोम 80-90% इंटरसेप्ट कर पाता है, जो 10% है वो तो गिरेंगी.
हाँ.
वो मिसाइल.
But वो इसलिए हुआ. There is a reason that आप war में when you become battle hardy also ना, war का at certain stage you get fatigue and you become little tired in certain aspect in your technology and committing your resources also. तो this is I personally feel कि इजराइल थोड़ा सा इस टाइम हल्का सा, अगर यूएसए का
नहीं आता
there was some alarming stage was they were heading actually.
सर इसको हम थोड़ा सा एक और, मैं अगर चीज को रिलेट करके समझने की कोशिश करूं, 1979 की हम जो रेवोल्यूशन की बात करते हैं, उससे पहले अमेरिका की जो मिडिल ईस्ट पॉलिसी थी, इट हैड नर्चर्ड 2 पुलिसमैन, सऊदी अरेबिया एंड ईरान.
हाँ, इसको बना रखा था. ईरान को they were known as a policeman.
हाँ, तब 2 पुलिसमैन बिठा रखे थे और दोनों ईरान के साथ अच्छे रिलेशन थे. और पहलवा जो रजा शाह की जब वो रेजिम हटी शाह की, फिर अपने आयतुल्लाह ख़मेनी आ गए. उसके बाद देखिए सर डायनेमिक्स कैसे चेंज होते हैं. अब ईरान और यूएस के रिलेशंस एकदम उल्टे हो जाते हैं. और अब ईरान क्या कहता है, जो 1979 तक अब यूएसए के साथ है, अब वो कहता है कि ये अमेरिका ग्रेटर सेटन है और ये छोटा सेटन है इजराइल. और तब से लेके आप इस पे क्या कहेंगे कि हाउ डू यू असेस द अमेरिकन पॉलिसी टू यूज इजराइल एज अ प्रॉक्सी टू कंट्रोल द मिडिल ईस्ट और कंट्रोल द ऑयल?
देखो, at this juncture, what I previously said that US intervention was very much required to Israel actually at that point. And the timely help which has been given to Israel by the US, I think Israel is not going to forget that part.
Right.
I'm not saying that you have done a favor to me, I will pay back to you. And whereas US is going to utilize and exploit this particular situation for their, in a very favorable manner, to set up their foothold and using Israel as a proxy, whatever you call. Even they are also concerned about Russia and China. Russia partially not, because they are engaged with the Ukraine. But that kind of at the back of the mind, US all the time keep thinking about it. And their another competitor is China. Let me tell you again very clearly, China will not straight again come for this war. But you will invariably find that they will be pushing the things from the back door.
सर इसी आपकी कॉन्वर्सेशन को मैं थोड़ा सा आगे अगर लेके जाऊँ,
Okay.
अभी जब हॉस्टिलिटीज़ बड़ी एक्टिव थी ईरान और इजराइल के बीच में, और आपने जैसे कहा कि अमेरिका ने इजराइल की हेल्प की, कि अमेरिका का ही तो बिगर प्लान था, और क्या ये जंग एक्चुअली अमेरिका ही लड़ रहा था और इजराइल को सिर्फ कठपुतली की तरह इस्तेमाल किया गया?
There is a doubt.
So it is the
No,
America
no,
is the player.
absolutely.
America
मेरे को एक बात बताओ, 150 जहाज है और कुछ सबमरीन से भी आया है। वो कौन सा है? इफ्शान,
Isfahan.
हाँ,
Isfahan.
उसके ऊपर तो जो मिसाइल which has been launched that is through submarine.
Right.
And 30,000 kg bloody damn thing has been dumped there. And Tomahawk,
Yes.
उसके बाद जो मिसाइलें यूज हुई हैं दबा के, and the stealth aircraft and mid-air refueling. Imagine कि अमेरिका, don't you think it is not a one-day effort?
कब की प्लानिंग कब की है ये?
The
Long-term strategy.
Garari was booming. Garari was definitely functioning somewhere.
Right, sir.
And they want, the final goal is they actually want US to establish another foothold. They really want to bring in there some amount, dominate this. आपको मैं बता रहा हूँ कि the most important part we must remember is that is the energy, crude oil. And you know very well that is the hub for the entire world. बाकी जगह है. I am not denying
अमेरिका के
this.
पास अपने शेल
So-
गैस रिसोर्स बहुत ज़्यादा है.
Everything. But this is what exactly is. Iran nukes को कब से नहीं बना रहा
इनका ऑब्जेक्टिव सर क्या था? ये ऑब्जेक्टिव सिर्फ इनके न्यूक्लियर दो मतलब थ्योरीज हैं इसके ऊपर. एक थ्योरी ये कहती है कि ईरान के न्यूक्लियर प्रोग्राम को कुछ क्रेडिबल इंटेलिजेंस मोसाद की मिली होगी कि उनका जो न्यूक्लियर प्रोग्राम है वो एनरिचमेंट के बहुत पास है न्यूक्लियर बॉम्ब बनाने के. ये एक इनपुट था. दूसरा एक जो थ्योरी है वो ये कहती है कि दे वांटेड देयर इज एन एक्टिव यूएस engagement to change the regime in Iran.
No.
What is the
No, you have taken absolutely you put the words in my mouth now. Wherever US has gone, Afghanistan, to throw back Russians, they created Al Qaeda.
Taliban?
Yeah, Taliban. And when they had gone to Iraq, ISIS.
Weapons of mass destruction?
So, don't you think they want to overthrow Khomeini and trying to create some more things? And don't you think that by that, if this thing happens, the Iranians are sharing border with Afghan and subsequently with Pakistan, my country. We don't have any potential major threat from any country, but we definitely have got that so-called fundamentalist terrorist who design something and come and attack. They work something all the time. So this is my concept. I personally feel US wherever has gone has created something new. New plant has come up, the poisonous one, which is dangerous for the entire world. This is what, okay, Iranians were definitely they were also no less. They were also supporting that militia and
वो तो कर
Houthis,
वो तो कर रहे हैं
right?
अब
तो
वो
Hamas,
हिजबुल्लाह हमास एंड
everybody.
को कर रहे हैं
So Israel had a point to smash them because of this reason too. But if you say they have only smashed them for the nukes, no. The another thing, that thing is, US want Iran to remain alive at certain level only, and then create something here and then play around. Syria, Libya, I'm just giving you certain things or the क्या कहते हैं connections.
सर इसमें एक और चीज़ ये भी कही जा रही है कि Iranian population which was up till now a little scattered, what this conflict has done, it has galvanized the people together. अब Iranians have now kind of their resurgence of faith, they have come together behind the Ayatollah.
Yes.
इन्होंने ये basically Iranians को इकट्ठा कर दिया जंग में.
That is what I say. You must have seen certain time in the news that Iranian people are not happy with that so-called law they have created.
Yes.
And we were saying that yeah, they are very kind of they are heading for some civil war. But this time they have brought under one umbrella. And उनको मालूम है कि we if we don't take stand this time, that something will, the entire demography and rather their own identity is at stake.
Right. So भारत का अगर आप देखें, भारत अपने आप को voice of the global south, we are projecting ourselves, and we are gaining that geopolitical clout and geopolitical strength that we're gaining over the years. How do you see India de-hyphenating its relations with both these countries, Iran and Israel? Because we have very close ties with Israel. How do you think India's role going forward? Because you cannot be claimed to be a superpower or a global power unless you act as somebody that can mediate and bring about peace. So how do you see India's role going forward in this?
No, India's first step should be, suddenly Israel and our foreign minister has spoken to his counterpart in Iran, right? You are aware about it. Even we were also in touch with the Israelis. The most important part is to tell the US also not to further escalate, not to widen the war furthermore. It is only for the global interest. That has to be actually in a very dynamic manner required to be brought into the notice of the UN.
Right.
India's stand has to be this only. I'm not saying India should go against Israel or Iran. No. We should not forget our old ties too. We got a brilliant ties with them if you see the history in past. But what is more important, the changing scenario when the situation is so fluid, and we need to address the root cause. The root cause is we need to really take or speak to the US in front of international forum ki no, this is absolutely not really required at this time.
Right. Very beautifully brought out. Sir, now, I mean, what do you think, concluding before we conclude the discussion, what do you think अभी इस जो जंग का माहौल था in this Middle Eastern region, the Levantine region if we say so, how do you see the conflict going further? What is going to be this Cold War का जो माहौल बना हुआ है, अभी इसमें क्या ईरान की तरफ से अभी न्यूज़ में सुनने में आ रहा था कि ईरान कुछ तो मिसाइल्स फिर से थोड़ी बहुत कहीं फायर होना शुरू हुई, तो क्या आगे आप क्या देखते हैं नियर फ्यूचर में इस कॉन्फ्लिक्ट का कहाँ किस डायरेक्शन में जा रही है?
This situation is very unpredictable. We are yet to see some kind of action from the Russia. Yet to see some kind of whatever contribution from China. We should not totally wash our hands कि भाई वो अब शांति में, something very internally going on. You take it as a lull in a battle.
Right.
But the initiative is definitely required to be taken by the US people if they have really looking forward for a fruitful ceasefire between these two nations. They also need to play a dynamic role by minimizing their military activities. One jerrycan full of kerosene is there. I will keep it either in some type of a storage so that it should not ignite, or rather take out my matchbox, and that should not happen. It's that. The situation is that. We definitely need to really keep China, Russia and US also in a same bracket, and we need to really analyze what exactly they are opting for.
So just a little follow-up question with that before we wrap up. I mean, we talk about the nuclear enrichment program of Iran. अभी जो experts commentary में जो सुनने में आ रहा है कि these strikes on Fordo, Isfahan and Natanz, what this ATMAX would have done, ATMAX, इसकी वजह से आपने सिर्फ उसका न्यूक्लियर प्रोग्राम कुछ महीनों या कुछ दिन डिले किया है, और इसकी वजह से एक अभी स्टेटमेंट आई थी, नाउ सिंस आईएईए ने कोई कंडेम नहीं किया है जो बंकर बस्टर, हाँ आईएईए ने कुछ कंडेम नहीं किया है कि आपने जो अपनी न्यूक्लियर फर्दों में मारा है या दूसरी फैसिलिटीज में, अगर वहां से न्यूक्लियर लीकेज होने से कुछ सिविलियंस को कुछ तो नुकसान होगा, तो दैट ओवरसाइट कमेटी हैज बीन बायस्ड, दैट इज व्हाट Iranians are saying, and now what they are saying is we are not going to allow IAEA to visit any of our facilities. What do you think?
Oh, that is basically, like they are sitting within their own home, but definitely they don't want any other foreign, because what is the impression Iran is carrying out? Don't you think they have partially lost some type of a confidence even with the UN also?
Absolutely.
Not only atomic.
Absolutely correct.
So, if they are saying कि UN why they didn't intervene,
yes.
So similarly why they should permit
IAEA also?
Exactly. And at the same time, they say that we have not been affected by these strikes. Okay? तो ठीक है, थोड़ा मैं मानता हूँ नुकसान उधर भी हुआ है, इधर भी हुआ है. आपको मालूम है what exactly the total global picture and the has been given to us by the media. So that is what exactly we can carry out our analysis.
Right.
But Iranians are definitely feeling some kind of a bit isolation. कि मैं जो expect कर रहा था,
बाकी अरब कंट्रीज भी मदद के लिए ओपनली नहीं है, कोई भी नहीं आया,
सऊदी अरब
नहीं आया, सऊदी यूएस का लाई है,
and they all
यूएई तो सऊदी तो यूएस के लाई है वो, और इजराइल के साथ अब्राहम अकॉर्ड भी हो चुका है,
वो जब वो बोलते हैं बड़ा भाई, and Pakistan, चलो let's make more interesting. Pakistan, what they have done. You are. Anyway,
I know, sir.
A friend has gone there, Field Marshal. I always call him. How many times I remember him a day?
There are no free lunches. There are no free lunches.
Exactly.
White House में बुलाया है तो
उसको बुला के एक बर्गर खिलाया गया, उसको अंदर उसे बोला गया कि मेरा नाम रिकमेंड कर दे, and something. I may use your airspace. I may do this and do that, and thereafter there are. पहले जमाने में ना राजा के दरबार में कवि पाले जाते थे, एंड ही वन ऑफ देम, ये कवि है, गाथा गा है उसने, एंड उसके बाद ईरान के खिलाफ भी गया और यूएसए के खिलाफ. Anyway, I no further discussion over this, but like entire, I mean,
things are churning is happening. Global geopolitical churning is happening.
They were waiting for some type of action from the Russia, China, and they again found themselves अकेला. तो उनका जो faith, उनका जो confidence है, उसको लाने के लिए they definitely take a stand. We get out of our country now.
Absolutely. So very beautifully brought out, and as they say, history repeats itself first as a lesson, then as a farce, and we will keep it at that. Thank you so much, sir, for joining in this beautiful
Thanks, sir.
discussion.
Thank you very much.
Enlightening.
I really enjoyed that discussion.
Same here.
Though there are certain facts and figures are there, but my own perception that the war should not escalate in that region. It is on the human grounds only. This is totally because human is common everywhere, whether it is here or there. But the only thing is that for their own self-interest, you want to carry out trade and all that, that's fine, but nothing else.
Right.
And my message to the viewers, it is, I enjoyed the discussion, definitely. And it was I felt total natural things coming in me and the words were coming in my mouth. And whatever the best we wanted to convey, and I'm sure you must have enjoyed the same.
Right.
Thanks, Adam. Thank you. Jai.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for joining in. So this was Col Rajeev Bagga joining in on this episode of the Navjot Singh Show. We will see you with another great champion and bringing in authentic stories from world of geopolitics, security and other aspects. Until then, it's me Navjot Singh signing off. Thank you so much. Jai.